Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank.
Barbara, it's great to talk to you again.
Same here.
Hey, I have a lot of questions. I just like to get to it. Number one, if you're tipping a valet, we discuss this a lot. You leave your car there. They say, please tip. How much do you tip a valet?
Depends how expensive the restaurant is. If it's in LA and it's a place to be seen, I give them $20. If not, I'm cheap in New York. I give them 10.
That's cheap. 10.
That's, I think.
Wow.
Is that bad? Should I up my game?
Up it. I can't believe $10. Okay, we're just dealing with different paychecks, obviously, Barbara. Okay. That's what about?
Honestly, you think that's a lot? Am I reading it wrong or what?
Yes, I do think that's right. Wouldn't you guys say that?
Yeah, I mean, they're
What
just driving
what
it.
would you consider to be?
Well, I would say the same as her,
Average.
but I'm talking about. But here's my thing. I don't want anybody to go on the internet and say I didn't tip them. So my interest is different, where people will get on the internet and go, I just got stiffed by Bobby. He left me $1. And so I'm scared of that, where Barbara probably doesn't give a crap anymore. She's made it. She doesn't care what people say.
You know what I'm afraid of? When I hand them the tip, they turn to the guy that they work with and say, God, what a cheap bitch. That's why I tip.
Same for me. To say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I would think, what do you think, Amy?
$5? $3?
$3.
Oh, 3.
But sometimes you just have a 5 and then it's awkward to be like, can I have 2 ones back?
Oh, do you ever ask for change with a tip, Barbara?
No, never. How embarrassing. And they're smart enough. You give them a 20 for something you really want to tip 10, they never have a 10 back. They never have a 10. Hey, you got a 10? No. So you give them the 20.
Barbara Corcoran's on. I do want to tell you about our podcast. It's called Business Unusual. And you have a lot of cool guests. For example, when you were talking with the guy from Netflix, and you kind of got into how Netflix really wasn't an extremely popular idea at first, but that's also what made it work. Like, what is that experience like sitting with someone who has made a difference in culture?
Well, it makes you examine yourself as to what kind of a difference you made. So it takes me about an hour after to get myself whole again. Like, you're pretty good too. You know, you did this, you did that. But I'm always struck by how little confidence people had when they were trying something new, and how those are very often the people that make the biggest changes. The ones that kind of burst through their fear and just say, let me give it a shot.
So are you saying that the people we look at as the most confident because they had the biggest and best ideas, for a lot of while they're trying, maybe they aren't the most confident? That's just kind of the after effect?
No, they are second guessing their idea all along the way, but they're thinking they're curious enough that they're just going to see where it leads. No, I don't think they have any more confidence than the average guy. I don't think anybody's really confident. I think people just cover it pretty darn good.
The cost of living is always going up, it seems, and everyone's always like, hey, everything's way more expensive now. Isn't it always getting more expensive? And with that, is it still the best time to buy a house right now?
Well, those are two questions. Of course, it's getting more expensive, but inflation has been worse. And for the common person who's trying to feed their family, the average middle class person, it is just terrible right now. And it's worse now than it has been for as long as I could remember, really. If you're asking if it's a good time to buy a house now, I think it's always a good time, but I'm a real estate agent. What do you expect from me? I don't think you could sharpshoot a market, which is what people dream about. Oh, I want to buy at the low and I want to make sure I sell it for a little bit more or a lot more. It just doesn't work out that way. What happens is life gets in the way. You need a house because you just had a baby. You have no place to sleep them. And then when you sell a house, you're selling the house because you're transferred or you want a better school. So you really don't have control of the timing. I say just get in the game, get your hands on a house so you have something to trade up with. I could actually remember so distinctly me getting cold feet on my first studio apartment I was buying. And I was 26 years old. I put down the deposit and left it on the table and never bought the place. It took me like 6 years to catch up, to get a new down payment, to buy another studio because the prices were running away. The minute I had a studio, I traded for a 1-bedroom a few years later, then a 2-bedroom. Now I live in a penthouse. I'm telling you, I couldn't have gotten in to where I was today without getting in the game when I was a kid and being real scared about it. But shame on me that I had to get cold feet.
A lot of the articles that we read now say, okay, the housing market is a high right now. They'll never be more expensive. And the housing market's the bubble's about to burst. So don't buy now. You know, that's what we're seeing a lot of. Are you saying that that's probably not extremely accurate?
No, I would say that's not accurate at all, and I feel very firmly about that. You know what you have right now? You have protection in the housing market. You have high interest rates, which is supposed to level out prices. It hasn't. Prices are still going up by 13% a year. I don't care where you live, you're still making money. You're paying more for your house by more than 10%. 1 year later, it's crazy and it's going up. But what is tempering the market right now is nobody wants to put their house on the market. So there's a shortage of new listings. And why isn't anybody putting their house on the market? And why do you have a shortage? And why do you have the prices going up? Because they don't want to go and buy another house at a high interest rate. They got 3%. Why do they want to go and buy something for 6%? So people are frozen in the new listings, and therefore the market is very stable. Prices will continue to go up, even though the Fed really thought if they rose the interest rates, it would freeze the market. It hasn't. It's slowed it down.
Barbara Corcoran is on from Shark Tank and also the Business Unusual podcast. As we talk about money, we get a lot of questions of people going, hey, I have a passion, but I also have a job. And so if someone says they want to leave their job or they make pretty good money for a job they're passionate about and would make less, what advice would you give them?
I would say it has nothing to do with passion. Everybody's passionate about their first date. It's the marriage that counts, isn't it? So I would say, certainly, if you have a passion, ask yourself if you have the ambition to build a business. That's the hard stuff. Coming at it again and again and again when things aren't working, trying to use your wits to get through, trying to stretch your buck. I mean, building a business is tough, any business you're in. So you need ambition is what you need to hit the finish line. Passion is just a light at the beginning that gets you all excited.
How can someone raise their credit score, Barbara, easily?
I have no idea. I have a lousy one. I never work on it.
Then how do you continue to progress in business with a bad credit score? Like, what am I missing here?
Actually, I was just joking with you. I have no idea what my credit score is. But you know what? I don't borrow money. I've worked so hard, and I just don't like to owe money. So you're asking the wrong gal here. You got to get somebody else on this one.
What about starting a side hustle versus getting a second job? What is your idea on either or both of those?
There are two different decisions. You know, if you need extra cash and that's your ambition, you get a second job. It's more assured. You're not spending money to make money. You're just collecting more money. But if you're looking to really take control of your universe and become rich, you're never going to do it unless you have other people working for you. That's the way it goes. You can't really multiply yourself so much unless you have human beings that are lifting you up. So those are two different decisions. I say go for the rich card if you have the ambition to make it happen.
One of the members of our show just bought her first house pretty recently. Her name is Morgan. And Morgan, you have a question for Barbara?
Yes, I do.
If she has a house and she wanted to sell it, and that's your question about renting, right, versus selling?
Yeah, I'm just curious. If I wanted to sell my house right now, would that be better for me? Or should I just try and get somebody to rent it out and then I make money off of it?
Well, it depends what you're after, Morgan. First of all, if you show a house with that gorgeous face that you have, you're going to enhance the value right away, right? They're going to like your house because they're going to like you, and that helps in real estate. But I don't think you should be renting a house unless you have more motivation. I mean, you're the landlord. It's like doing the work without the benefit of enjoying where you live. But whether you want to be a tenant, whether you want to be somewhere else, or whether you want to own and live where you work, depends upon personal interest. I mean, I love the idea. I could sit in a chair and look at my four walls and say, this is my castle. And I'm going to paint that wall any color I want. And I'm going to rip out that kitchen should I choose. You don't do that anymore if you're looking at a home as an investment versus a home. Depends where your head's at.
Eddie, will you zoom in on my face?
Yes.
Just zoom in. I want to look at my face. What if I'm selling a house, Barbara?
If you're what? Selling not so good. You know why?
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so.
Because honest to God, you look like you'd be a guy a little on the cheap side, and you'd probably be overcharging for the house. That would be my impression.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh. Let's talk about credit card debt for a second, because I think a lot of people have it. Eddie, our guy on our show, just got out of it. He to every expense that they felt they didn't need, they just stopped and they paid back their credit cards. What is your simple advice for credit card debt?
Start with your smallest debt. A lot of people try to tack the big debt. It's too discouraging. You don't stay with it. It's like saying, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 5 days. You're better off saying, I'm going to lose a few pounds by the end of the week. So start with your smallest accounts and try to pay them off. You feel a sense of accomplishment, and then you'll work your way up the ladder.
We're going to come back in a second with Barbara, and I know this is so cliche, Barbara, but every time you come on, one, you're an excellent guest and we learn something, but everybody just wants to pitch you stuff for Shark Tank.
Oh, no.
I know it's so cliche. Would you please just indulge us in one more version of this?
I certainly will, and I'm out.
Okay. Here is Barbara Corcoran. Everybody has one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lunchbox is a massive Shark Tank fan.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing us a favor by listening to these because I'm sure people in public just go up to her and do this. Lunchbox, you're first. What would you like to say to Barbara?
Barbara, it's so great to be here on the carpet, and I'm seeking $75,000 for 18% of my company. It is called We Wash, Your Wash. Did you know? I know, Barbara, you're at that level. You probably don't even have a washing machine. People wash your clothes for you. But you have to clean your washing machine. My washing machine was starting to stink and smell. So I start Googling it, and I have to clean it. Well, I didn't know I had to get behind the washing machine, take the back off, take all these parts out. Why can't we send someone to do that for people? They don't have time. They got families. They got kids. So we wash, your wash. Are you ready to go into business?
I'm definitely out, and let me tell you why. It took you so long to explain the need. Nobody's going to believe they have to wash their washing machine. Too much.
Oh, and so any front loader, it starts getting mold.
But now you're explaining more. She just said why she wasn't.
You can't put in a little soundbite. You have to be able to put everything in a little soundbite.
I'll let you do one more. Here's another one.
I have another
But
one.
you have to soundbite it.
Yeah, it's called Dog Dates, seeking $150,000 for 12% of my business. This is a dating site where you choose your date based on their dog pictures. So everyone on the site has to have a dog.
I love it, but you better put the owner's face there too, because I know I would use it to meet a dog lover, but really be after the master. You got to put both faces side by side. And people look like their dogs, so that works out.
Yeah, and there have been apps that do that already.
No, I mean, like, you don't get to see the owner, so it's like a blind date.
Surprise.
Oh my gosh.
You had
Are
to.
you kidding?
No, listen.
right.
Guys, this is great because you see the dog pictures, and if the dog's just sitting on the couch all day, you're like, oh, that owner's probably lazy, and I don't want to hang out with a lazy person. I want to hang out. So, they're in the mountains, they're at the swimming pool, they're at the dog park. Okay, those people get out. I want to go on a date with that person.
Yeah, well, guess what? It's a great idea until they have their first date and realize they can't stand the owner. So I say it's a bad idea. I'm out.
Oh, man. She was in
Hey,
the
Amy, I
beginning.
know you're not asking for money. Yours is a general, just a pitch of an idea.
Yeah, I just would like her opinion on it.
Go ahead.
Mine's just 4 simple words: pumpkin spice dryer sheets.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Are you?
Dryer sheet pumpkins? What?
Yeah, okay, listen. Pumpkin spice, Barbara, it like you put them out seasonally. I mean, and companies do this on purpose. They only put it out a quarter of the year and they end up making way more money. It's not something we would sell all year round, but come fall, pumpkin spice dryer sheets, and people are going to buy it up because they love the smell of pumpkin spice.
I think people are going to eat it more readily than throw it in with their clothes. I don't like that idea either. Doesn't anybody have a good idea there today?
They all die because they eat our dryer sheets. You have kids everywhere.
No, they're not edible.
No, but who
Lawsuits.
knows? Okay, one
gosh.
final one. Raymundo, you're on with Barbara Corcoran. Go ahead.
Yeah, Barbara, let me introduce you to Put It On My Tab. We're a bar tab service similar to Afterpay and Layaway for clothing. At the end of the night, college kids just say, put it on my tab, and they pay later. There's a $10 fee to use the service. Max limit is $500. Bars will benefit because these kids are going to overspend. I need $20,000 for the app. If you're not interested, do you think this would work?
I think it would work, and I am interested. And I think you're mostly underestimating the $20,000. It's going to cost you at least $150 before you get through. And I'm not putting that much money in, but I'll give you $20.
Wow! Look at Raymundo with the idea of the day.
Yeah!
Wow.
Wow,
Okay,
wow.
Ray, good job, buddy. Yeah. Okay, so let me say this about Barbara. She is excellent on our show. Her podcast is awesome too. And the episodes are about 20 to 30 minutes, or at least when I've listened, Barbara. So it's not like I have to spend an hour and a half listening. I kind of get what you want me to get, and then I move on. All right, there she is, Barbara Corcoran, everybody.